It's another week of the Jeff Dubay Show. That's week with two E's, asshole. Not EA. Like, no. It's a Monday. It's the Monday after the Grammys, which I did not watch, but we still might make fun of it. Or at least I might make fun of it. I mean, come on, boy bands and Celine Dion win Grammys, but we'll get to that later. I just got my cell phone back today after a week, and Jason McGovern, sidekick, co-host, producer of the Jeff Dubay Show, brought up an interesting point because I'm crippled without my phone, and I've been without it through some circumstances beyond my control. I've been without it for about a week, and I just got it back today. And it had been somewhat crippling, but you just asked me, is that always a bad thing? And I'm thinking to myself, it's funny you asked that because in the car, I'm sitting there thinking, fuck, I got to return messages tonight. I got to pay attention to a phone. I got to, if somebody texts me or tweets me or whatever, I'm going to have to respond. I've got no excuse now. I'm back on the grid.
When was the last time you went a week without a phone or without some kind of device to be connected with?
It's been 10 years at least.
I mean, it's been at least a decade. I mean, I had a pager back in the day. I mean,
Oh,
I've
my
always
God.
had something.
What are you, a
that's
pimp?
had me
Dude, are you a pimp?
Drug dealer, pimp,
Sure.
same thing.
Yeah.
But
let's just say you hustle.
yeah, right. But no, I mean, I've been connected, and I can't stop. And people have said, like, why don't you get off Facebook? Why don't you get off Twitter? All that stuff. Well, now doing this, I mean, it's literally part of our business model. So there's no way we can get away from it.
No. And I have to admit that while I felt completely out of touch for a week now, I mean, it's one of those things. I think it's human nature to never completely be content. It's like, I was bummed out that I had to be so out of touch for a week. I couldn't, get a hold of people I wanted to get a hold of, whatever. And now I'm all bummed out. I got to be on the grid, and I got to fucking respond to messages. It's just never happy.
It's really funny that you say that, too, because I just read a review of a new show on HBO that came out that's basically about upper middle class white people, and basically just the whole article is bitching about, it's just white people problems. But that's completely true, though, is it doesn't matter where you are in life. You still look at it as you have your own issues, and it's always fucked up.
Yep.
And that article pissed me off because there's actually a bunch of good shows that like Parenthood and stuff that are about that now. And it's true. Like we all think we struggle, even if we don't.
Everybody's talking about Parenthood. I've never seen it.
I've never watched that one either, but I've heard
Netflix.
nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, I've got Netflix, and it's on Netflix, and it's always kind of teasing me, kind of tantalizing me. And they just had their series finale, correct?
Yes,
and everybody got all weepy about it.
Yeah. It was like 5th or 6th season. I think they're done.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to check into it. But another thing that was on last night, I avoided it intentionally. I'm not going to lie to you. It was the Grammys. Not that I was busy. I watched a little Montreal-Boston. To be honest with you.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So one of the old school rivalries, the original 6 rivalries in the National Hockey League. Little Canadians Bruins. But I bypassed the Grammys because every year I see, and I don't have. I should preface this. Most people who know me know this already. But I don't have a lot of respect for the pop music genre. I mean, if it's on KDWB or KS95, it's crap. And I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, if something is that disposable, something is that much of a fad, something is. I mean, Justin Bieber, does he have Grammys? I bet he does. I bet Justin Bieber.
Oh my God, he probably does.
I mean, boy bands win Grammys. Celine Dion wins Grammys. I mean, people who don't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Celine Dion if she's your cup of tea. It's just, I mean, I want somebody who can write a song. I'm singer-songwriters. I'm not into pop artists. I'm not into bubblegum pop. I'm not into Katy Perry. I'm not into people who come and go. I'm not into the flavor of the month. And now it's not that more renowned artists don't win Grammys as well. I mean, a couple years ago, I remember watching. It was basically the Foo Fighters Invitational. I mean, it was and I like them and I respect them and I thought, okay, that's cool that they got their recognition, they got their props. I mean, because that was a fantastic album. The album with Rope and Walk. That album.
Yeah, Everlong was it Everlong on that one
no,
too? Or was that one after that?
That was Everlong was before that. I believe.
Right, that's right. Yeah, so that album is after that one.
This album, yeah. But I can't believe I can't think what the album was called. But anyway, it crushed a couple of years ago. But I mean, it is. If you're not somebody who can sit down and enjoy, listening to KDWB or KS95, you're not going to enjoy the Grammys. Am I wrong?
No, for the most part, you're right. But I think you would be happy to know that. I don't know if you know who Sam Smith is, but he won Best New Artist. He is pop, but it's not bubblegum pop. It's not that crap. It's actual music. It's actual lyrics.
Yeah.
And then Beck won Best Album, which I don't know what you think of Beck. It doesn't even necessarily matter, but at least he is a musician. He is an artist. He does create music. It's not just that bubblegum pop shit.
Is that the I'm a loser, baby, why don't you kill me guy?
Yeah, that's Beck. Yeah, that's Beck.
And
that was probably 20 years ago that came out. But yeah, and now he won a Grammy for Best Album. But so the part that I wanted to mention
is he a bald dude like Moby?
No, he's not bald. No, in fact, he actually looks the exact same as he did 20 years ago.
I always get Beck and Moby mixed up.
Well, here, let me. I can show you back here.
Okay. Well, that's a black dude.
That's Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I was going to show you something with him too, but just so you can see Beck. There we go.
You said Jay-Z was.
That's Beck there with Prince.
Okay.
He's a little guy.
Just kind of a nerdly dude.
Yeah, just a little white guy. But okay, so what's funny about this though is
that's Prince. That's a dude right there.
That was Prince up there with him. Yes,
wow.
And a couple of about 4'9" guys. But anyway, so you obviously would have heard about the Kanye when Taylor Swift won the Grammy and he jumped up there and took the mic and basically. Do you remember hearing about?
I heard about that. Yeah. Why would he do that? Why did he do that?
Because he's a prick.
And what did he say?
He said you don't deserve this. Beyonce should have won. He straight up said that to her.
Wow, what a
on
dick.
Stage, on TV.
Wow,
okay,
what a dick.
So last night, when Beck gets it, and again over Beyonce was nominated again.
Yeah,
Beck wins it. Kanye's front row. He runs up the stairs again.
Way. How could they not be ready for this?
It's the greatest. Here's the reaction of Jay-Z. Look at his face. He's like, oh, no. And then Kanye actually was kidding. He goes up there, acts like he's going to, and then sits back down. But his reaction is like, oh, God, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, yeah, it's all good. Like, anybody go see it. It's on Vine.
That's funny.
Jay-Z's reaction last night to that is phenomenal.
Yeah, you can tell. He's like scared to death what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you have
that's
footage?
like his business partner, too,
Do you have footage of Kanye doing it?
Of him actually going up there?
Yeah,
yes, that's got to be one of the other videos here.
That's hilarious. I just kicked something. That's funny because you could tell it. He's like, you know what he's like? He looks like a basketball coach.
Here it is. See, he just jumps up and then just sits right back down. It's pretty good.
Oh,
and Beck being
do you think he chickened out,
sport,
or do you think he planned on just doing it like that?
No, I think he was fucking with him. But Beck was great. He's like, come back up, man. No, come on up. You can speak.
God.
Like, it was kind of cool. And then even afterward, he was asked about it, and he said, look, he's a great artist. I respect him, blah, blah, blah. So he was totally a good sport about it. But Kanye was a dick afterward and still said Beyonce should have won and that Beck didn't deserve it and that the Grammys are bullshit and blah, blah, blah.
So he did say that. He didn't give all this love and props and respect.
No, Kanye still said that after the show, but at least he didn't steal the microphone during the show.
What a dick.
He is a dick.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
he's a dick and a dink.
Well, I would think there would come a point, if the guy's going to just, be this rogue lunatic who's going to run on stage when he wants to at the Grammys, that maybe you'd stop letting him come to the Grammys. I mean,
yeah.
or you'd put like.
Well, he performed. I mean, Kanye performed there this year.
They
don't give a shit.
Wouldn't you think that that whatever the Academy of that gives out the Grammys, they'd get to a point where they'd either ban him or they'd strap him to a seat. I mean, just tie him down, or put a couple of thugs next to him or something.
Yeah, don't let him come. But
I mean, there's got to be something you can do.
There's another thing I must note in this show.
He's not Superman. I mean,
it's similar. Yeah, no,
he can't do whatever he wants.
The Grammys, they had Barack Obama deliver a message, and he said, we need to end violence against women. And who's against that? Like,
well, yeah,
that's a great concept.
Yeah,
of course, we're all on board.
Pretty gutty. Get out on a limb there, Barack.
Chris Brown was nominated during that show a half an hour earlier.
No way.
So I'm just that's the hypocrisy of you guys. What are you even thinking? You know he's going to deliver this message. This is pre-recorded. How about we don't nominate Chris Brown this year? Or ever again.
Well, yeah, or move it to a different part of the show. Try to separate these two.
Well, no, they were too close. But I think I was the one that really picked up on it because I didn't see anybody else mention it on Twitter. But it was so the hypocrisy to me was thick.
Yep, it is. I'm not. And he's the one who beat up Rihanna.
Yeah,
but I keep hitting your mic. I keep hitting your mic.
Keep your hands down.
But see, the beauty of not being into hip hop music or the hip hop scene is I don't have to keep up on who's beating on who and then who's being a dick at award shows. I mean, although clearly there's some entertainment value to be had, not with the beating on the women, but the running up and stealing the microphone at
right.
At
I mean, that's the most talked about thing today.
It's almost
like
Kanye
did that.
It's almost like like a real life version of like All Star Wrestling. Like like we talk about like the guys that's a guy soap opera, and they tell all the drama between this wrestler and that wrestler. But the hip hop world is like All Star Wrestling, but it's for real.
Yeah,
I mean,
it started back with Tupac and Biggie and all that stuff, where they were literally talking about killing each other.
Yeah. Well, they didn't talk about killing each other; they killed each other.
They were killed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
not necessarily by each other.
Well, no, but East versus West. We get the whole thing: East Coast, West Coast. Yeah, I'm down. I told you, I'm street.
Maybe you were into hip hop back in the day. I guess
I'm street. All right. Well, plus there's an ESPN, 30 for 30 or ESPN 60. What are the difference? I can never tell the difference between. I mean, they got I know the 30 for 30s are half hour, and the other ones are 60. But I don't understand what makes the difference. Like, how come some are short, some are long, whatever. The ESPN
documentary. I think
documentary.
the 60 is the magazine. Isn't that something from ESPN, the magazine?
Is it E60 or something?
And 30 for 30 is Grantland. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, one of them is about the night that Tyson had a fight and Tupac got killed.
Yeah, when he got shot in Vegas.
Yeah, because they were boys, and I didn't know they were boys.
Yeah.
And I think it's the night. It might even be the night that he lost to Buster fucking Douglas, just to make it worse.
I think that is right.
Just to make it worse. That's just a red letter day for Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Loses to Buster Douglas, and then Tupac got gunned down. I mean, not to be insensitive about it, but that's a shitty day.
That's a really bad day. I think the Tupac thing overshadows it a little bit, though, so the loss is probably a little easier.
And then Buster Douglas. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember. This is when I was young enough to be a video game preteen kind of a guy, or teen, whatever it was. But Buster Douglas had got a video game. He was he became He became a fat, disgusting slob. I mean, just a complete idiot, loser instantly overnight. But he cashed in and got a video game. Buster Douglas knockout boxing,
that's brilliant.
Because of Tyson. I don't know anything about boxing. You know what I mean? I don't know the quality of fighters that he was seeing coming up. I don't know if he was being given just tomato cans. But let's see, I know enough about boxing to know the term tomato can. But I remember just that if you could go like 2 to 3 rounds with him, you've done something.
Absolutely.
That's like a moral victory. I mean, like the bell would ring. It was basically like scenes out of a Rocky movie. Like boxing. I mean, how many times have we sat and watched Rocky movies and thought, God, if boxing was really like this.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I would watch
boxing.
It
was always that dramatic.
But it was with Mike Tyson. Like the bell would ring and he would literally sprint across the ring and just pound somebody until the bell rang again, and it was over.
And if the guy survived the first round, you're like, oh shit, this could be a fight.
I mean, how many times did he have first round knockouts? How many times did he have first 30-second knockouts? I mean, it's like people had to be. If you were going to fight Mike Tyson, in the early part of his career when he was just a maniac and a lunatic, he wasn't dangerous outside of the ring at that part of his career, but he was devastating inside the ring. Later, that reversed. He became beatable inside, but he was just a fucking get out of my way outside the ring.
Right.
I mean, and also sadly, a domestic assault kind of a guy, or actually sexual assault.
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, it went beyond domestic. But it was domestic sexual assault. Whatever. How many adjectives can you put on assault? But I remember that it was ridiculous. If you survived the first round with Mike Tyson, you were the shit. So for somebody to actually beat him, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Buster Douglas knocked him the fuck out.
I think he did.
I mean,
he had to.
It was the weirdest, and nobody had ever heard of him. He was just another tomato can. I mean, it was the weirdest, most random, out of nowhere. How the fuck did this just happen? Boxing must be fixed, or this guy is just completely on lewds or something. I mean, there's got to be. It was one of the weirdest. I mean, I know that. Guys can get a little carried away with themselves. I'm sure Tyson got to the point where he felt as invincible as he possibly could feel. But Mike Tyson, he could have the flu and beat Buster Douglas. I mean, he could just roll out take the IV out of his arm and do the Jordan and just walk out there. I mean, there's no way you can lose to a guy who kills everybody in the first round. Cannot possibly lose to Buster Douglas.
But that's a sport too, where you really can't walk into the ring and take someone lightly. Because that is what could happen. I wonder if that is what happened too.
Your teammates can't pick you up.
I'm too tough.
Yeah, your teammates can't pick you up.
Yeah, no goalie or anything to lean on.
Yeah, exactly. The goalie really stole one for us. Speaking of which, this is a Monday. A couple days from now, we'll be doing a Wild Wednesday. And, this is a sports-themed show, at least, although it's not sports-intensive all the time. But cannot ignore what's going on with the Minnesota Wild. Devin Dubnyk is becoming the hero of the moment with his fourth. Yep. The skies have opened. You look skyward, palms to the sky, and then the light comes through the clouds, and it shines on Devin Dubnyk, who's now got 4 shutouts in 9 starts. And the Wild, now I haven't looked at the standings today, but I know of yesterday, before a couple of games were played, they were the ninth spot, which 8 teams make the playoffs, and there were only 3
up from last week.
It's unbelievable, and there were only 3 behind Vancouver, who I believe is here tomorrow night. Correct?
Tonight.
It is Monday.
At the X.
It is Monday.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That changes everything. I really got to get out of here. But so it's you get to the point where. It's like we were in straight up panic mode. Now, don't get me wrong. The Wild are not in, kick up, put your feet up, and take it easy mode yet.
No coasting yet.
But I mean, there's a significant amount of season left. I mean, there's like 30 games to be played left. I mean, that's almost half the season. I'd be shocked at this point if they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
you
I know
swung
I know I'm throwing the whammy on them, but they're like on the brink. They're like a point or two.
Oh, they're so screwed now.
They're just like a couple of points out, and they've got like 30 games. What was wrong with us? What were we thinking? What was the urgency? Seriously, why were we all freaking out?
There's no one in their right mind who thought Devin Dubnyk was. I'm sorry. Actually, there was one guy, Scott Schweitz. But
I can't imagine.
Nobody thought that.
I'm so ashamed of us for being so panic-stricken. What's wrong with us? Seriously, it's like
as the 5-game losing streak starts tonight.
No. They've closed the gap to next to nothing, and they've got 30 games left. It's like, what are you worried about?
A whole new season.
It's like like 3 weeks ago, we're looking at some website that said they had a 6% chance of making the playoffs. Are you kidding me?
No, we were talking about next year already. We were talking about you got to play the kids for next year. They got to fire Yo.
Yes.
The whole bit.
What the hell's wrong? What's wrong with us?
I don't think we were that crazy. I still don't.
But look what happens in 2 weeks. You win what? 4 or 5 in a row? Is it 5 in a row?
I think it's 5 in a row.
You win 5 in a row. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to see a 5-game win streak coming for a team that was that dysfunctional. But again, we've pointed out numerous times that up through the middle of February, the schedule really was vulnerable. I mean, it was the type of schedule that if you got your heads out of your collective asses, you might be able to rip something off. And sure enough, a 5-game win streak, not something you would have predicted for this squad the way they were going, but nothing monumental. I mean, 5 games that's a modest win streak.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Good.
Yep. And then they've done a nice job of closing out some teams in regulation, teams in the Western Conference, not giving up cheap points. Very important. So it's been a nice and very legit 5-game win streak. But again, 5 is kind of a modest number. It's not like you went on a 20-game tear. You're not 18-2 in your last 20. You're 5-0 in your last 5. That's a very doable, very manageable thing to do. And that's all it took. And here you are on the brink of the playoffs. I mean, you're just a few points out of the 8th spot. You're in the 9th, 10th spot, whatever it is. You're right there staring at it. And we're thinking 6% chance to make the playoffs. I mean, what? I can't believe we were in the state of panic that we were, to think that they've got 30-some-odd games left to make up these last 3 points. I do have my feet up.
All right, listen here,
I
Mr.
have my feet
Sunshine. Let's just, how
It's
do you know
over.
Dubnyk's not going to come back down to earth?
Oh, of course. I mean,
that's the thing.
Well,
that's the scariest part.
Well, I mean,
and Kemper was not good in Iowa. I'm worried about Kemper. We've always been worried about Kemper. But he's the guy you need to be able to come in every third, fourth game.
I'm done with him. I'm done with him.
He's scary.
Well, but I mean, we need Dubnyk to stay healthy. We need Dubnyk to stay hot. Now, he doesn't have to be this hot. No, I mean, this is a psychological effect on a team, and this is something that Scott Schweitz and I have talked about numerous times. I mean, this team now takes the ice just believing they have a chance. I mean, and from a talent standpoint, we always knew they were better than they'd looked. From a talent standpoint, we knew we were not getting, what we should be out of this group. That's another thing Scott and I talked about in Tony's absence last week, is that when you look at the teams around the Wild in the standings, in the basic vicinity of where the Wild are, let's say spots 8 through 12. The Wild are the best team of that
on
group.
paper by far.
Absolutely. So you look at that group and you think, okay, well, they should be able to overcome some of these teams around them and get to the playoffs. Now when they were playing with Kemper and Backstrom, I mean, they went out just waiting for the other shoe to drop every game. I mean, you go out, you take the ice just waiting for this guy to fuck it up, waiting for this guy to let something ridiculous in, but not just one. Like he'll whether it's Backstrom or Kemper, you're looking for him to let in almost a ridiculous string of goals. It's just gonna absolutely stab you in the heart, and you just can't play like that. You just can't. And now when you get Dubnyk, I'm not saying that all of a sudden this team felt like, all our problems are solved, but they had the mindset that, hey, we've got a goaltender who won't get us beat. I mean, we've at least got somebody who's going to go out there and make the saves he should make. Maybe he'll steal one once in a while, but at least now we can go out there and have a chance. Now we can. I mean, when you had Kemper and Backstrom going the way they did, this team was beaten before they would ever lace them up. I mean, they'd go on the ice knowing that there's just nothing we're going to be able to do. These guys are going to kill us no matter what we do. Now you go out there thinking, hey, we got a shot every night. We're every bit as good as, if not better than, the team on the other bench. Or if our goaltender doesn't shit himself, we're gonna have a chance. And Dubnyk does not, or has not to this point, knock on wood, shit himself.
One more devil's advocate, though. What if this just makes it so they play just well enough to get another shitty draft pick? I mean, they don't make the playoffs, but they're like the 9th seed, or they would be 9th seed. If that, I mean, wouldn't that be worst case scenario for this year?
Of course it would. Absolutely.
So I almost want, and I mean, this is what we were talking about 2 weeks ago. You almost wanted to say fuck it and tank and let the kids play, like we were saying.
Man, oh man,
but now we're on the brink, and this is what the Wild do, is they keep you just close enough.
Yeah.
You need to get to where you can break through and be a top 5 seed.
Yeah.
And stop this shit where we're always fighting to get into the playoffs. Again, with this lineup, this shouldn't be a team clawing their way back.
I agree.
Now, hopefully, with Dubnyk playing hot, they can keep this going, and they won't be clawing.
What the fuck is this thing?
I don't know what those are. Oh, it's probably to hold the cord.
Oh, I see. Anyway, continue. I didn't mean to.
But no, that was pretty much it. But I just wonder if
I didn't mean to end your momentum with that. With this microphone
you were distracted by a new toy. You have a new toy in front of you. You're like a child.
I have ADD. Yeah, but I feel you on that if I wasn't so damn confident that they're going to make the playoffs. And I am.
Like that. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I mean, again, I didn't look at the standings today, but as of yesterday, they were in 9th place, 3 points out of the 8th spot. And the 8th spot is Vancouver, who we just beat on the road, and we got coming in here tonight. I'm thinking to myself, we got 30. We were just, 5, 6, 7 games ago, we were out of it. And within 5 games, we've pulled ourselves right back into it. Now we got 32 games left to close the remaining 3 points. Are you kidding me? We could do that with our eyes closed. We could do that. I got no worries. This team is absolutely playoff bound, and I'm ashamed of myself for the level of panic that I had dropped to, that I'd fallen to, that I'd sunk into. It was. I don't believe it was warranted now that I look back. And, of course, I've just given the team the absolute kiss of death. They got a game tonight against a team directly above them in the standings, a team that cannot give up. Not only can they not give up 2 points, they can't give up a cheap point. They got to beat this team in regulation tonight and keep this roll going. And now, Dubnyk will probably break his neck. Backstrom will come in and give up 5 shitty goals, and they'll lose in regulation. And I'll come back on here tomorrow and say this team's fucked.
No, it is amazing the difference a week makes. I mean, they are 5 points away from a wild card, but like you said, they're right. They're the next team out.
Yeah.
They're 5 points behind both Vancouver and Calgary.
So Vancouver did win in the was it a Sunday night or Saturday night game? I believe.
Yeah, I think so. And then you've got LA and Dallas right tied with us in points, though. Doesn't that make you a little nervous?
LA's the one team that I cannot say we're better than. LA's right. I mean, obviously, they won 2 cups.
Dallas is kind of surprisingly not as good this year as we were expecting, right? Weren't they supposed to be better this year?
I'm not a big believer. And there's trouble in Winnipeg, by the way. Yeah, Dallas is a little bit of an upstart team, but there's trouble in Vancouver with Evander Kane. Did I say Winnipeg? I meant Winnipeg. There's trouble in Winnipeg because Evander Kane is causing all kinds of problems there. And now they got to move him. They got to try to trade him. Oof. And he's a big valuable piece to what they do, and not the kind of distraction they need. And they got to get him out because he is more than a minor locker room disruption right now. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break.
That helps us, though. I like the sound of that.
Absolutely does. There is turmoil in Winnipeg, and we're going to revel in it after the break.
Hi, everybody. This is Alyssa.
And this is Liz.
And we're with The Focus Radio,
where our focus is to bring you resources to grow your business and double your income.
Join us on Mondays from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Time. TheFocusRadio.com.
Folks who've listened to the show, they know that I lived in the Uptown area here, right down Pleasant Avenue, as a matter of fact, and on the corner of Pleasant Lake is where Uptown Pond is. And I have been here numerous times, had numerous business dealings with them. It's just a nice place with good, honest people. Bob Jacobson, the owner, you run the place. You've always been good to me.
Thanks, Jeff. We try. That's part of our business. We're here to help people, and so everybody walks in the door. We hope we can help.
Well, what I've always appreciated is when people are nice to people who are the low man on the totem pole. Like when I was a bat boy, I liked the star guys who were nice to the bat boy. Right. And I mean, I came in here and you guys didn't know who I was. You didn't know I had a radio show, and you treated me great. I mean, just a guy off the street.
Listen, that's the idea with I think a smaller family type business. Somebody walks in the door. We don't want to let them see everybody gets treated the same way, and we hope that's the case. And we don't want to see them leave without. We try our very best.
It's really easy. It's easy. It's low pressure. Good, honest people. Right on the corner of Lake Street and Pleasant Avenue. You guys got to check out Uptown Pond.
When I get to the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide. Where I stop and I turn and I go for a ride. Till I get to the bottom and I see you again.
Do you, don't we? Want me to want you? I can't say it right. It's a song so good that Charles Manson couldn't ruin it. Isn't that all you need to know about a song?
I mean, it could survive that.
I mean, it's a song that inspired one of the most horrific mass murders, in the history of this country. At least one of the most feared. I guess he wasn't that prolific. I mean, he had the one big night, right? Pretty much. That it?
No, but yeah, he's very famous or infamous.
Yes, but I mean, it was just the one big night, right?
I believe so.
I mean, he went after famous people. That's why. He went and killed. But I mean, it's not like he killed 50 people. But now again, well, think about it. The guy's
quantifying this now?
Well, but he's probably killed fewer people than Aaron Hernandez. If you want to really quantify. But I mean, nonetheless, I mean, it's a horrific story and a tragic night back in, what was it, 68, 69? When did this happen? When did Manson go on his little?
I don't know a whole lot about Manson.
I don't need. But I mean, the bottom line is, a song that inspired him, or at least was said to inspire him, is such a good song that it can't be taken down. Manson can't take down Helter Skelter.
No.
The song's so fucking cool that it basically scared the hell out of every other band that was around. Like, how the fuck are we gonna? Look what the Beatles are doing. Well, you can't fucking do that. I mean, I thought these guys were a boy band. What happened to Hold My Hand? But
then they've realized there's no touching them.
Yeah, at that point they realized they were playing a different game. They were playing a different game.
Exactly.
So
different sport. What's the Samuel L. Jackson line in Pulp Fiction? It's not even the same league, not even the same sport.
Yeah. Yeah, God, I'm not good at movie lines, but that's a more obscure one. You pulled one out right there.
Oh, that's a great one.
Hey, so you watched quite a bit of the Grammys last night.
I did, unfortunately, yeah.
Any highlights? I mean, anything worthwhile?
What did I like? I mean, I'm not an AC/DC guy. They opened the show with a couple of songs.
They're still together?
Yeah, I guess so. They must be touring, too, if they're doing the show.
I'm not an AC/DC guy either, but I always like the song Back in Black for some reason.
No, I don't mind that one.
Plus it became like the theme song for my baseball team that I coach.
Okay, there
the
you
Rockies.
go. All right.
I did a little highlight video, and I played to that song. It's on YouTube, by the way.
I feel like every one of their songs sounds the same. And they have three chords.
Oh, they suck.
You know, like that.
They suck.
But people love them. I don't know who those people are. But
I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, you have to be stupid. Well, I mean, let's face it. There's a certain element of knuckle dragger in any kind of heavy metal crowd. I mean, it's
true.
Not. And don't get me wrong. I mean, my favorite band of all time is Led Zeppelin, and I get really you really will ruffle my feathers if you call them a heavy metal band, because I don't think that.
Yeah, that's not a metal band.
I don't think that's fair at all. I mean, because they did all kinds of stuff. I mean, the heavy metal band to me is just like mindless, just banging chords, just screaming. Motley Crue is a heavy metal band.
I don't even know if I'd call them metal.
Really?
But I know what you're saying. That loud, just loud to be loud
okay,
type
Poison
stuff,
or Rat, or I mean, I was in the age.
To me, that's glamour rock.
Well, it's their hair bands.
Hair
Well, they're hair
yeah,
bands.
yeah.
Okay, well then what? Metallica? What
that's
do you,
more metal. Yes.
But do you think they're mindless?
Tool is metal. No, I don't think either one of those are mindless. But
See, I think metal's kind of mindless.
I think there is mindless metal. I think there's good metal too, though. Actually, just not very much. I mean, seriously,
what?
like 5%.
Give me a good metal.
Well, like Tool. I think Tool's a great band.
Korn?
One of the best things I've ever seen live.
I've never heard Tool.
I saw Korn live as well.
Or
they
Nine
were
Inch
okay.
Nails. Is that
I would
metal?
love to see 9 Inch Nails. I think that's metal, but that's almost electronica too.
See, I don't know
9 Inch
anything
Nails
about
is very different.
I couldn't pick them out of a lineup.
Trent Reznor is insane in a good way.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I'm glad you say that, because there are good ways to be insane. Like when I tell people I'm, a little crazy. I mean, like not Manson crazy, just kind of whimsical crazy.
Yeah, if you go watch those 9 Inch Nails videos in the '90s, you'll understand what I'm saying by Trent Reznor being crazy.
Really?
But now he's doing, soundtracks for like Gone Girl and whatnot. Like he's
really?
a very talented guy.
Oh, okay.
But then
So he sold out.
Tool,
No,
Tool, right? I mean, you're familiar with at least a couple of their songs.
Well, mine, but no, I don't know Tool. I don't know Tool at all.
Not at all?
I don't
Okay.
know Tool at all.
Because I hadn't either, and I dated a girl a long time ago, and I went to 2 shows with her and just realized, like, they got 2 drummers and their guitars are sick. And
2 drummers?
They have, like, naked people hanging down on ropes during the show.
Well, I'm down with that, but isn't
the
2
guys
drummers
wearing
a little
diaper,
showy?
basically. But
I think 2 drummers is a little showy.
I hope I'm not mistaken about the 2 drummers.
But anyway.
But again, 15 years ago.
And then again,
like that. But they're just amazing live.
When you see Spinal Tap, if the most susceptible bandmate, when it comes to untimely death, is the drummer. So to have a spare, I mean, it's just kind of like having that spare tire in the trunk.
Pretty smart.
Got to have that second drummer.
Maybe they were thinking.
Keith Moon, John Bonham. I mean, it happens.
It does.
Gene Krupa.
What is with the drummers going first? Is it just because they're always in the back and they're just like, nobody cares about me? Well, what's going on with the drummers?
That's a good question. Well, I think you got to be a little insane. Like Keith Moon, like to watch Keith Moon play the drums, you had to realize that he was a little insane to begin with.
Well, and John Bonham was pretty nuts too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. But I mean, Keith Moon was. Have you ever? It's very entertaining just to watch. There are some musicians that I could watch them and it could be completely muted. I could not hear a thing and I could still be entertained.
Yeah.
Like I've told you, like how cool it is to watch Mark Knopfler play guitar.
Sure.
To watch Keith Moon play drums is you can't even. I don't know how. It looks like he's got 4 arms. And I mean, stuff's just flailing away, and he holds one of the sticks at such an odd angle that's like you don't know how he's able to hit anything with force with it. I mean, like if it was an electronic drum that you just have to tap something, maybe. But it's like, how can he hit anything with any force? Because he's got it at like this goofy, weird angle. It's just
and the coordination of a drummer is ridiculous because they can do all 4 limbs are going. And if I start doing more than 2
unless
hands,
you're the Def Leppard guy.
Well, but no, but seriously, there's something to. I have the hand-eye coordination to swing a golf club. I can do something, and my whole body is working there. But the second I go from drumming on two different things to trying to use my foot too, it all goes to hell.
I would love
it's
to
like
sit
the
down
tapping or rubbing your belly and tapping your head. Or
Sure.
something.
Have you ever
can't
sat
do it.
down at a drum kit? I never have. I would love.
Oh, you've never even done it?
Oh God, I would love to.
It seems like it would be so easy to at least just play a very basic thing.
Yes.
No, it's not. No, it's fucking not.
Really?
It's way more to it than you think. There's way more to it, and that's supposed to be one of the simpler instruments. I mean, piano is supposed to be
I have
like
a
the
feeling
gateway.
I could do it.
And
I can't. I've got no chance of ever being able to play piano, guitar, nothing like that. Nothing like that. But I always feel like I could maybe play drums.
You would always think I could bang on a fucking drum, but
Yes.
it's not. It's
Yes.
harder than you think.
Really?
It's definitely a skill.
All right. So AC/DC opened. Did you say they opened? You
for
couldn't
the Grammys.
opened.
Yeah. What
Come
year
on,
was
you
it? Right?
You can't find something better to get people's attention and keep. Well, I guess people going. If you want to get somebody's attention, there are people going. Hey, what the fuck's AC/DC opening the Grammys for? Hey, come in here. It's fucking AC/DC. I'm not kidding. It really is.
I honestly think that's exactly how it worked all
that-
across America.
The shock value might have roped some people in. Like it had somebody.
They're
yell-
not dead.
What? Yeah. Hey, I'm not fucking with you. It's AC/DC. I might have turned it on for a second. What, are you fucking kidding me? Oh God, they're horseshit.
Right, just to see it.
Yeah, I might have, but I didn't.
But no, so you get AC/DC, you got
Yes.
Katy Perry and Kanye West
haven't
both
we had enough?
performed. I
Haven't
know
we
you
had
can't
enough
get enough Katy Perry.
So what did she play?
Madonna performed. Katy Perry, I was actually tuned out by this point.
Does
but
Madonna
she
still
was,
have the gross arm thing going on? Where's some?
No, she's actually in great shape.
But
But this
she
is
should
funny
still
though.
wear
She couldn't
sleeves.
really move right. Like she
What?
looked like she wasn't very limber.
Like she's got a bad hip?
A little, yeah. Like
Yeah.
she's starting to slow down a
Yeah,
little.
well,
and
she's that
but she's
age.
still trying to do all the same stuff.
she's
like
gotta
she's
be 50.
24.
She's like 50,
Oh,
right?
she's like pushing 60, I think.
Jesus, that's gross.
It is gross.
That's gross.
And she was wearing nothing as usual.
Oh, that's really gross.
I know.
Grandma, put something on.
It's disgusting.
60. Jesus Christ, there's got to be laws.
Trying to think. I mean, again, like I said, Sam Smith cleaned house, won a bunch of awards. He's a good new artist.
And what does he do?
And he
What's his
performed
deal?
live too.
Like, give me an example.
There's one, "Stay with Me," I think is the name of it. I
Well,
don't think you've ever heard
Well,
it. In your
no,
life.
but they compare him to somebody. Like, is
God,
he a singer-songwriter? Does he sit at a piano?
Yeah,
What
no,
does he do?
singer-songwriter.
He's like a David Gray.
Doesn't play an instrument at all. Just stand in front of it. He's got like kind of background singers, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Again, pop, but not the bad pop that I think you and I both can see a difference.
Yeah, I like
between.
David Gray, but he doesn't sound like a David Gray. But continue.
And I can't think of a David Gray song right now, but maybe
Babylon?
a little bit more along that line.
Babylon?
I don't think that. I don't know if I know that one off the top of my head right now.
All right.
Let's see what else happened during that. It was
Who gave a good performance? Other than
I wasn't
AC/DC.
that impressed with
AC/DC
any of
rocked
it.
the house, man.
I will say this: I don't even like Kanye's music,
Right.
but he performed on a circular stage with just this tunnel of light coming out of the stage.
Yeah.
So he just kind of wrapped, kind of walking in a circle with his face kind of in the light, and then kind of like the imagery of it was super cool.
Okay, how about any holograms? Do you have any hologram performances?
No,
That really-
Coachella type stuff.
That
no.
really faded out of popularity in a
Well,
hurry.
did you
didn't it?
see the Tupac one from 4 or 5 years ago?
well,
that was the first one I saw.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one that started the whole. It was Tupac and Snoop, right?
Yes,
Snoop
I believe so. Yeah.
So they
Snoop
kinda,
brought him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, well, yeah, and people thought it was. I mean, there were like polarized reactions to this. Like people thought it was very impactful. I mean,
Yeah, it was the buzz, yeah.
people thought it was really cool or almost ghoulish.
It was creepy.
But yeah,
Didn't you think it was creepy? I thought it was creepy.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool,
yeah,
but it was
yeah.
like.
But I mean,
he's
if
dead,
you're
let
a
him be
fan,
dead.
but if you're a fan, you can't be kind of like, hey, that's kind of a nice little. But if you're like his girlfriend or something, you'd be like, what the
Oh
fuck?
Jesus!
What the fuck?
I didn't even think of that, or his mom. But
Yeah,
no, what I
seriously.
wonder.
Yeah,
though,
you would hope that they would have been, like prepared for it. Like Snoop would have picked up the phone and said, "Hello, Mrs. Shakur. I'm going."
Just a FYI.
That's my Snoop impersonation.
No, what do you?
Mrs. Shakur, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be doing a duet with Tupac this week.
You at least gotta.
Oh yes, I thought you'd
Somewhere
be okay.
in there.
I thought you'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that's exactly how that conversation would go down. That was
Well, I mean,
nailed
but
it.
you got to let her know. She can't just be watching the TV. I mean,
No, as a fan in the audience, though, how fucked up is that too? When you're just standing there and you're Snoop Dogg's here, and then all of a sudden you're watching a hologram of a dead guy that's been dead for 15 years, 20 years.
well,
it's got a mess.
Is it that long? Yeah, but that
15
is
at
fun.
least.
But I mean, I kind of thought that was going to kind of turn into a trend, but I think people just thought that was a little too ghoulish.
Well, it works in Japan, but not here apparently.
Well, why? What are they doing?
They're into the hologram shit over there.
Well-
they have like artists that aren't even they don't exist,
But
they make music.
Yeah,
and
but people get all they're all banging the drum for stem cell this and clone that, but they get fucking squeamish at a hologram. How are you gonna do with the goddamn clone? I mean, Jesus Christ, people, you got to, if you can't fucking deal with a hologram, then stop banging the drum for your stem cell because there's going to be a fucking clone dude walking around and you can't deal with a goddamn hologram. I mean, people got to stop and just, piece it together a little bit, don't you? I mean,
that takes creepy to a whole new level.
Well, think
You're
about
absolutely
it.
right.
Well, think about it. I mean, when you do I'm not saying I'm against stem cell, but you're growing like Jason's new liver, You're growing Jason's kidneys. So
then you start growing Tupac.
I mean, there comes a point where you grow Jason, and then if you can't deal with the hologram, then you can't deal with the fucking clone. It's just it's that simple.
I had never tied those two together.
People
but
never,
well done.
they never see things all the way through to the completion. They just don't think it all the way through. But again, this is not meant to be a rant against stem cell. I'm just telling people you gotta look at the whole picture. You gotta look at the end game.
Just don't be hypocritical stem cell proponents.
Well,
That's
I mean,
all you're saying, right?
if it was a hologram of Tupac's liver, would you have been okay with that? I mean, if they can grow organs in a dish, I mean, are you going to be okay with the hologram of an organ? Now I've gotten.
I think a hologram of Jesus would be more what you're.
That would scare the shit out of people.
That would
God,
would do it.
That would people would be running into the street screaming rapture. that would scare the shit out of people.
Next Coachella, 2015 Coachella. Jesus makes an appearance.
Oh, can you imagine people?
The outrage.
The fucking nut job. The nut jobs would go. Can you imagine?
It'd be awesome.
Oh,
it would actually be. I hope they do it now.
Oh, could you? Who's the big kahuna with the Muslims? Is it Muhammad?
Oh, the Prophet Muhammad.
What if you had like holograms, like Jesus got Muhammad in a headlock or something?
Oh my
God, the terrorists would go insane.
We might get
the terrorists
blown up for saying that.
It'd just be they'd be running on the streets. It would be over. It would be turn out the lights. You got Jesus got Muhammad in a headlock.
You thought those cartoonists got it bad in France?
Oh, the jihadists.
Holy.
The jihadists. Oh my God, just the Somali supermarkets up here on Lake Street. You'd just be running for cover. It'd be terrifying. It'd be horrifying.
Airplanes flying into music festivals. Jesus. How did this get here?
I don't know.
Grammy talk. Just that uplifting Grammy talk.
Oh, yeah. So anything else good on the Grammys?
Actually, no. That was about it.
That's it? Really? 3 hours of your life and you got nothing but
At
AC/DC?
least 3 hours of my life. But like I said, after about the first 45 minutes, I'm on Facebook and Twitter and I don't even know what else.
Yeah.
Porn. I don't know.
See, that's gonna be my life tonight. I'm gonna have the phone, and I'm gonna have to every time it beeps, I'm gonna have to see who just fucking Facebook messaged me or who just
didn't miss it, did you? You didn't miss it.
I thought I did, but now I'm not sure. I'm really not positive. But let's take another break and come back with the final segment.
Okay, last year, 2013, I lived just down the road, Pleasant Avenue, just a few blocks here from Uptown Pond, which is right on the corner of Lake and Pleasant. And, there are a couple of times, you just try to get to that next payday, maybe a couple of bucks short. If you've got some items, jewelry, diamonds, electronics, I mean, you come down here and they give you a fair price for it, and then you come back a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, you get it back at a real reasonable price.
So we're very competitive, we hope, on different angles, in different ends, and different articles. Computers, electronics, TVs, jewelry. We buy, we give loans, and we also have emphasis on diamond jewelry too, that we also try and give credit for the best we can. We're specialists in that area also, so it's an all-round sort of combination.
Well, it's a great place. It's a nice, clean place with honest people, and I tell you what, it's got a real family feel to it. As a matter of fact, it's tied into the Strauss family, and I go way back with the late, great Jerry. So, I mean, these are people I know and people I trust. You can find them on Twitter, too, by the way. They're at Uptown Pond, and also on Facebook, Uptown Pond, and UptownPond.net.
Hi, I'm Terry Daniel, and I've been a voice actor in Minneapolis for over 2 decades now. How often are you getting compliments on your voice? Now is the time to do something about it. If you're interested in getting into voiceovers, please contact me via my website at universalvoicetalent.com.
Have we reached 30 seconds yet? Fade it! That's royalty for ASCAP BMI. That's all. A little royalty check for Dusty, or whatever the fuck his name is.
I always thought if you talked over it, it was legal.
Oh, really?
Now, they can't tell that on this little system that we got set up here. But on the radio, and I've heard other podcasts, too, play the full song. But maybe they are paying for the music rights. But I don't think many podcasters are.
Well, yeah, and if they come after... Who do they think they come after us? On our little cute little show here.
Wouldn't we be proud? I think I'd be proud. I'd say, wow, we made it. They're coming after us.
Well,
they care.
That's like saying you're the woman in Brainerd who they're coming after for the illegal downloads. Yeah, I'm proud. Come and get me. You remember the lady in Brainerd?
Yeah.
Got
How
nailed
sad
to the
are you
wall?
if you're the guy coming after that lady, by the way?
I know. Just leave her alone. She just wants to listen to some music and smoke some weed.
We'll make an example out of you.
You know, she's just up there in Brainerd, like lighting a doobie and listening to Bob Dylan or
Yeah,
something.
trying to listen to some good music that you download it for free. What the fuck?
Leave her alone, you dicks. You're just a bunch of dicks. I totally forgot that there's a professional basketball team in town. And I don't. Just mean,
there is.
I don't just mean the Atlanta Hawks, who happen to be here tonight. I mean the Timberwolves. Talk about under the radar, and you have the misfortune of going to the game tonight. Well, how the fuck does that happen?
Well,
I get roped into going to a Wolves game. With all due respect, I love Chris Wright and Brad Ryder and Flip Saunders and all my friends downtown, but who the fuck would go to a game?
I don't pay for sporting events. I haven't basically since I was in media. Once you get that flavor, that taste, you really it's hard to pay ever again. But so I was offered some tickets. We're actually in a suite tonight, and nice. So some complimentary food and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
maybe some nudity, maybe some who knows? Maybe doing lines off the waitresses, whatever.
Well, no. And speaking of ruining draft picks, we got a hot ball club over there now apparently too. Maybe they can screw it up and screw up their position in the lottery with Rubio back and Pekovic back.
Are they legitimately hot? What's hot?
They've won 4 in a row.
No
I believe.
Fucking way.
Yeah.
Really?
But now they have the Hawks and Golden State back to back.
Oh, thank
so
God. Thank God.
We'll see how long that
lasts.
lasts.
Maybe Michael Thompson's kid could go for 72 on us or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And since when I hate it when Atlanta sports teams are good because,
because of the Braves or just in general?
Because nobody in Atlanta gives a fuck about sports.
I
mean, it's like it's the worst sports town. It's like nobody. I never understood the dynamics of the city of Atlanta until fairly recently, and I still don't completely get it. But Atlanta is like the convention capital of North America, and I didn't know that. I mean, it's like the convention, and it's also a city of just nothing but transplants. It's like nobody's born and raised in Atlanta, and it's just like people flock there. It's a migrant city. It's like everybody there is from somewhere else, and
I get that with California, but weird? I don't understand that necessarily.
That's I don't know. Maybe one time way back in the day, the city planners thought, "Hey, this is our chance to cash in. Let's go ahead and keep bars open till 4 a.m." Good
idea.
I mean, that's what they do.
That'll work.
I mean, when I was there for the World Series in '91, I was just this 22-year-old, not know a 23-year-old, whatever, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed optimist, mama's boy, sheltered. I didn't know strip bars could be naked and serve alcohol and be open till 4 a.m. Totally nude with alcohol and open till like 3 or 4 a.m. And then you go to a place called Club Anytime. And I'm not kidding. Club Anytime opens at 4 a.m.
That's brilliant.
Oh, my God. We lost people. Me and the other clubbies, we lost one guy. We thought he was dead. And we got in a cab and said, fuck him. And we found him just like staggering down a street. And we kind of fucking scream at our cab driver to pull over. It was like he wouldn't even stop. So I think he's still either dead or living in Atlanta.
Well, no, he just stayed in Atlanta like everybody else apparently.
I mean,
maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's how you get stuck.
But yeah, I've always growing up always would watch games, whether it's the Falcons or whatever, Braves, Hawks, the Atlanta Flames.
Don't forget those Thrashers.
Yeah, well, that too. And I always wondered to myself, how come nobody ever goes to any games? Georgia Tech. Seriously, I watched like Georgia Tech basketball. And when they were having a good run, they had Bobby Cremins. They cheated like crazy. They had a good run. And there's still nobody there.
I thought the
Atlanta
college
Braves,
teams at least got them. Wow, I didn't know that.
The Atlanta Braves failed to sell out postseason games now. I mean, in recent years, they've had empty seats for playoff games. It's such a bad sports town that I hate it when their teams are good because nobody cares, and anybody who does care is like just an opportunist. Somebody who's he's a wheeler and dealer in Atlanta. He's got clients. He's got a fucking grease or something. Nobody cares. Nobody has any passion for Atlanta sports. It's just nobody gives a fuck.
And that does make sense if they're all transplants, why they wouldn't. And you know what? Jeez, that explains why L.A. doesn't have a team, too. Like, doesn't have a football team.
Yeah.
Only L.A. could not have a football team. It's a city that big, but it's because everybody would be so apathetic. They wouldn't care because they're not from there. I never thought about that, but that makes sense for Atlanta. But that's how it is there.
And they have had passionate fan followings at times in L.A., but they have horrible stadium issues, and my guess is the biggest problem that always faced LA teams is property value. I mean, how do you build a fucking stadium when property value is that?
What about the fact there's so much else to do too?
But
and
then
maybe
again,
that's Atlanta too.
They built stadiums in San Francisco. Well, no, they went up and built one. They built in San Francisco. They built in Santa Clara. See, they knew they were smart enough to get out of fucking,
not to try, because the taxes alone.
Yeah, so I mean, I just always assume that the Coliseum is run down. It's old. It's shitty. It's good enough for USC, whatever. The Rose Bowl is not an NFL stadium. It's fucking got 100,000 people there. You'd have blackouts every week, and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that an NFL stadium needs. So you'd have to build a stadium, and I mean, how expensive would that be with real estate in LA? I mean, can you imagine what they did? That'd be like
the guy keeps talking about building one. Who's the one in St. Louis? Is that one?
That'd be like building a stadium in Manhattan. It's like, how do you just afford the real estate?
You also just nailed why they both play in New Jersey too.
Correct.
Those football teams.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why they're in New Jersey. It's why the 49ers are in Santa Clara. I mean, it's why the Patriots are in Foxborough. I mean, it is what it is.
It's why the Vikings should have been.
Well, yeah. Well, no, you're dead right.
They should have been out in the middle.
Well, you're dead right. I mean, and I've had this conversation with people over and over again, and you and I may have discussed this once too. Baseball needs an urban setting. Baseball should be in a downtown setting because you need walk up. You got 81 home dates. You can't advance sale the whole fucking season. You need to have. If it's a June, July, August day and it's 74 and sunny, you need people to get out of work and be just like, hey, what the fuck? Let's walk over and catch the game. It's a beautiful night. You need walk up. You need walk up, and to have walk up, you've got to be downtown. You can't be. Think about where Met Stadium was, down where Mall of America is now, with nothing around it. I mean, back in the day, there was you had airport hotels, and that's it.
Yep.
I mean, so there's nowhere to get walk up from. You got to have walk up. But in the NFL, what do you need? You've got 8 games a season. Fuck preseason, maybe playoffs, whatever. But you got 8 regular season games, and you've got season ticket base and games sold out basically in advance. So what do you need for football? Space. You need like lots that surround, like ring after ring of lots that surround a stadium, so people can hang out, so they can tailgate, so they can make an event of it, so they can make a day of it.
By the way, you can sell those parking spots for $80 a game or whatever too. Like there's a lot of money there too.
Absolutely, and then it also the abundance of space allows for development. I mean, and the Wolves are they're mobsters from New Jersey, and they're into waste management, and they're into real estate development.
Damn straight.
So I mean, it's a way to recoup some of the money you spend on a stadium. I mean, you develop, you get restaurants, bars, whatever, hotels, and all that. So it just doesn't. I mean, I'm not completely bent out of shape that they built the stadium downtown, because that probably helps you with attracting Final Fours and shit like that, because you're in a nice metropolitan area. But when it comes to just the needs, what works for Major League Baseball, and what the needs are for National Football League venues, you got to be urban. You got to be in a city for baseball. And I'm not saying you have to be out in the outer ring suburbs for football, but I think it helps. I think it helps.
You
need
need those
space.
lots. You need those parking lots.
It's just ring after ring of lots.
When you see that stadium down in Phoenix, when you see some of these that are just surrounded by those beautiful lots, and you have all those people out there for hours and hours before the game, that's what football is supposed to be. And I also think that what you're going to get with this new stadium is you're not going to get a whole lot of development around it. A, because there's nowhere to develop anyway, but B, because you're going to take the people coming from St. Paul are just going to jump on the light rail because there's nowhere to park and it's cheaper and all that, and then go to the game and leave. Like there's not going to be that whole
not in
like
that
you're
area.
saying that development around it just by bringing all those people in, which you wouldn't argue.
Well, I mean, look at the Metrodome was there for 30 years, and what'd you have? Hubert's. I mean, that's about the extent.
Think about
of it.
that. Hey, you want to go to the bar before the game? Meet you at Hubert's.
That's it. And Hubert's is great, but it's not huge. I mean, what are you going to do? Level HCMC? I mean, there's no. I mean, the other side, like where Dome Souvenirs Plus is and all that shady shit. I mean, okay, there's a little room over there, but I tell you, it's just ideally you want to make the most money out of a stadium and then have all the bells and whistles and stuff that can go with an NFL Sunday, and where people can have the full day of it and all that kind of stuff. You're so much better. Blaine would have made so much sense. I don't know why people just don't see that. It's not. If you think, it's so hard to get to, it's much harder to get to. Well, you go there 8 times a fucking year. Right. All right, so suck it up. It's not 81 home dates. It's 8.
And it's unless you live in Minneapolis, it's not easy to get to anywhere in Minneapolis for a game either, with all the traffic. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the light rail helps to defray some of that. But
a little bit.
I just. Baseball belongs in urban settings. Football, I think, is best served in an outer ring suburb where you got wide open spaces. But
is there another thing too with baseball, to a skyline, because there's so much downtime too? Like there's something too. You should have something to kind of look at. Whereas football, you got so much pomp and circumstance always going on anyway that you almost don't need to have something to look at other than the stadium itself. It
is nice. I mean, I for the first 3-4 years of the stadium, I had seats that faced downtown. I was on the third base side. So they were called Skyline View. I mean, That was my favorite thing about the stadium. I just, sit back and just take it all in.
Yeah.
It was very scenic, a lot to see, a lot to do, a lot to just, kind of sit back and soak in. But there are numerous reasons why baseball's better in an urban setting. Like if your team's getting crushed, you can leave and go out. I mean,
Yes, that's true, too.
I mean, if like Wrigleyville or whatever they call it, the
Yeah.
little
Oh,
area
I love
around,
Wrigleyville,
You
yeah.
just go, the Cubs are getting smoked. You fucking stagger out, and you got row after row of bars.
Yep.
I mean,
and it's with a bunch of cool baseball fans that you want to go have a beer with and talk to anyway. It's a cool culture around the stadium.
Yeah, I
there.
mean, can you imagine, like, thinking back? I mean, I know that maybe it was a different time. Well, it was a different time, but think back to, like, the 70s. Met Stadium down in Bloomington, middle of nowhere, nothing but, I mean, now that it was great for the Vikings because you had parking galore, ring after ring. You could just keep going out, and you just have more parking and people, tailgating and spending days, all day Sunday, making a day of it. But can you imagine for baseball? I mean, you had to, what a pain in the ass to go to a baseball game.
No,
I mean,
and
and
you're in the
there's
middle
nowhere
of
to
the
walk
cornfields, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere to walk to. There's nowhere to walk from. I mean, there's no way. The only people who are coming to the game are people who have been making plans to come to that game.
Yep.
And you cannot afford to miss a walk up. You got to have walk up if you're going to survive in baseball, or at least if you're going to thrive in baseball. But anyway, the week ahead, to take a quick look, I'm not exactly sure what tomorrow's show will be because I have been without my phone for a week, and I've been trying to run down a couple of guests on Facebook Messenger. We might have something hockey related tomorrow.
I'll give you a really in-depth report on the Wolves game tonight.
And we can't wait for that. Cannot wait for that.
I'll really break down the X's and O's.
I've been trying to get somebody in here to talk some Gopher hoops, but it's just been so fruitless that I'm just ready to give up almost. I mean, I tried to get our gal Nadine in here a couple of times, but she's a busy gal, and I'm not a plan ahead kind of guy. I'm always like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah, that's me too.
And that's just not getting me anywhere.
That makes it tough.
Yeah, but so tomorrow, you know what? You're just gonna have to tune in because I'm not sure what tomorrow will bring. We are close to starting Twins Tuesdays on a regular basis, but that will not yet be as of tomorrow. But probably by the end of this month, we might be into Twins Tuesdays on a full swing.
Pitchers and catchers, 2 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
13 days, something
and
like that.
I mean, I think we're also right around the corner from being a 5-day-a-week show. So, I mean, if you're sitting there thinking, well, boy, Twins Tuesdays will take up Tuesday, Wild Wednesday takes up Wednesday. That's your whole week, just about. Yeah, we're gonna be 5 days a week here very shortly, if I'm not mistaken. So we got room for the specialty shows, such as Twins Tuesday and Wild Wednesday. And who can wait for Wild Wednesday now that the team is Ain't No Stopping Us Now?
Oh my God, it's gonna be awesome.
That's what we need. We need Ain't No Stopping Us Now.
Well, you gotta have me ready for these things before you want to.
But I mean,
we actually need a button for that. Just that part.
Yeah, we do.
And I will work on that.
Yeah.
I'll have that for Wild Wednesday.
When the Gophers beat Maine to win the national championship, the guy at the X knew that he was a P.A. Dubay fan, and he knew we were there, and he played "Ain't No Stopping Us Now."
That's awesome.
While they were celebrating on the ice.
That's
and then
awesome.
he sent us a little email telling us, "Hey, that was for you guys."
That is really cool. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm jealous of you that was played for you.
Yeah, I used to be somebody in this town. Now I'm just gonna sit here and get remorseful.
Oh,
It's time. It is time to go. Jason's got to go downtown and check out the Timberwolves, dude. I almost feel sorry for you. Is it
I
gonna,
haven't been in the Target Center in so long.
You're gonna see Andrew Wiggins. You're gonna see one really good team and one really good player.
I get to see Ricky Rubio. I don't know if I've ever seen him in the flesh.
Yeah, well, I have. He's so cute, and he's got the hair, and he's just.
That's why I'm going.
Well, have fun.